There we go, we're live. Right, hi guys, welcome to the latest video. This is a reseller chat, and I'm happy to say I've got Tom with me, as you'll have seen by the title. How are you doing?
Hi, Nick.
You okay?
Yeah, all good, mate. Yeah, really good. I've got a beer in my hand, so that's always a bonus.
Oh man, I'm off down the pub after this, so I'll have a few later. I play cards, as you know, every Thursday. So yeah, that's the plan. Lots of people popping in the chat. Zahir may be popping in. I'm not sure. I couldn't get in touch with him. So Zahir may turn up. He may not. Lots of people saying hi in the chat. Bumcrack Picker was first in. Got Lucy, Peter, Panzer. Lots of people saying hi to you in the chat. I just want to say we're all probably aware that Tom has had a really rough time recently. We're not going to go into the details of that. That's for another time. We're here to talk and rant about Amazon mainly. So let me just see. I don't know if Zahir's popped in that chat. No, we'll just see if Zahir joins us.
Got a question from Carla saying, "How long before I drop my beer in my lap?" So,
oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah, because you were on The Price is Right. Yeah, I thought I hadn't had you on for a long time, but you were. Yeah, you were in that, and managed to lose it for the boys.
Somehow, I blame the gender fluid Zahir. Have we got a bit of an echo here?
I don't know. Let us know in the chat if you can hear an echo. If you can hear both of us, okay. Heather saying, "Nice to see you, Tom." One Man Riot's admiring my bubble wrap. Oh yeah, yeah. I've gone chunky. I've gone chunky bubble wrap. Do you use this big bubble stuff?
No, I use the thinner stuff, and then I use a lot of the I haven't got any here. You know, the really thin stuff you use that's like you put underneath laminate flooring, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I haven't got any of that in at the moment, but I used to use that a lot. I've been convinced by Zahir with these because the normal bubble wrap, it just all goes to nothing. It all pops. These, the point is it's more sturdy, so the bubbles actually remain, or that's the theory anyway. But yeah.
Cool.
Right, we're going to assume that Zahir isn't going to join us. Peter says, excellent top, Nick. Oh yeah, I'm wearing my, this is an amalgamation of Back to the Future and Transformers.
Cool.
Margaret's in there. Hi, Margaret.
We've got someone in the chat saying there's a bit of an echo. I think it might be my end. I'm not too sure.
Okay.
I'll bring the microphone closer to me, because I've got my
yeah, lean it towards you so the actual head of it's pointing towards you as well, and then it won't be picking up the speakers.
It's just really ominous having this thrust in your face. So there we go. All right, I feel like I'm a radio DJ now. So there we go. We're all set.
Icy and clear now. That's good. So what can we say about FBA? If anyone, I've had a lot of new subscribers to my channel, so there may be many people, perhaps not in the side chat, but watching this afterwards, who perhaps haven't seen you on my channel, perhaps haven't followed your channel because you have your own YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So you do a lot of Amazon, primarily Amazon. Would that be right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, just to clarify a few things. I mean, a couple of people have been asking in the side chat. I stopped doing videos. I think it was January. I'm doing a video to address that. I just need to be honest. I needed a break from it. It was taking over way too much time. So I haven't done so many of late, but I'm going to be getting back into it now. But yeah, I did do videos about FBA, but mainly I do Amazon FBA, which for the people who don't know is selling on Amazon, but it's where Amazon store and post out all your items. So I'd say 80% of what I do is Amazon. I did swing it more towards eBay sort of March time because I had an issue with my account. But yeah, it's predominantly Amazon.
And now Amazon switched things up. It was kind of the beginning of this year they announced it, and then it came in where they were charging us, well, they charge us monthly storage fees. So all the stuff you've got up there, they charge us by the square foot, to have it sat in the warehouse. So that came in, and then they charge now long-term storage fees once every 6 months, and then again on the year. And we were chatting about this at the time, because you have, to give you an idea, Tom probably has like 10 times as much stock as I do. I don't have a lot. I tend to keep it quite fluid up there, but you are more, or at least used to be more, long tail stuff. So explain a bit about what stock you have up there and how the storage fees affected you.
Yeah, basically, I used to sort of follow the model of the guys at Scavenger Life, you know, sort of list it and forget it. And then it was about a quantity of quality items that something's going to sell every day.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I was doing that for a couple of years. Unfortunately, Amazon just changed the game with their storage fees, because you can be doing something and then all of a sudden they can just change it because it's not your platform. So what I was doing was, Amazon had a rule where if you just had one quantity of an item, so say, I don't know, so you've got a load of memory cards, which I don't deal in, but I just happen to have one here. Say you've got a quantity of 10 of these, they charge you the long-term storage fees. But if you just got one of that item, you may have other memory cards, but different brands. They didn't charge you a long-term fee. So I had thousands and thousands of predominantly books, all different types of books, but they didn't charge me a long-term fee. So they charge you a storage fee still, but you just wouldn't get penalized for having something that was there for over 6 months. But now what they've done is, because basically people were filling the warehouses full of books that were never going to sell, they changed it so even if you had quantity one, everything gets charged a long-term storage fee. So I went from having a long-term storage fee of a couple £100 every 6 months, which is reasonable, to £2,800 storage fee for 6 months. So that's over £5,000 a year in storage fees if I continued from that point. So at that point, I was like, crap, the game's changed. I've got to do something here.
So what was your plan at that point? I mean, when I learned about this, I looked at, they basically issued us with, this is your, at a certain point, they said, this is what we're going to charge you unless you change things. So I didn't have much stuff. I had somewhere between 500 and 1,000 items up there at that point. So I had a sale. I ran a sale. I cleared loads of old sticky stock. I then had quite a lot returned, and I actually had a load of stuff destroyed. So did you go through those steps as well?
Yeah, I mean, Amazon didn't really drop it on us. They sort of gave us I think it was about 5 months notice. So there was time. The issue was that I, at that point, had about 5,400 items, something like that. But it was about 5,500 items up there. And that's different items. That's not, so I might have a quantity of 10 of one or whatever. So the total amount of items, I've no idea. So there was no, because they were all individual different items, there was no easy way to sort of do that other than go through individually and mark each one down, which took weeks and weeks and weeks. And that's what I had to do. I got all my items and then filtered them from what was going to be charged the most storage fees and worked down. So I got to the point at which it was going to charge me about 30p an item, which was still probably about 2,000 items that I manually adjusted the price on.
Yep.
And then when it came down to just before the fees were due, I either destroyed anything that was under sort of £6 I paid to get destroyed, because you had to pay for them to destroy it, or I got it sent back to me because they charge, I think, around £1 an item to get it returned. So some of the items I did get returned, and there was several days where the post office van turned up at my house and the entire van was just for me, and not one of those little vans like a transit van. The whole van was for me.
You sharing a pie.
Yeah,
it's just stacks and stacks of Amazon package.
Yeah, and at first the postman was like, "Oh, you've been busy," and by the end of it, he just hated me. He just wanted me to die because he was sick and tired. But for some reason, I don't know why, they decided to post each item back almost individually. So I've got thousands of these mailer things now, which is great. But
you won't have to buy any packaging for a while then.
no, not at all. And the amount of void fill that I've got is absurd. So I just wish they'd provided bubble wrap, because I could do with some of that. But
it is ludicrous because, I mean, to be honest, when I had some of my stuff recalled, I was getting like a reasonable sized box with, say, 5 or 8 items in it. And then they'd send the odd one individually, maybe because it was in a different warehouse or whatever. But I'm sure they could have got a better system to save themselves a lot. I mean, they were charging us the fee per item anyway, whether they chucked it in one box or sent it individually. But it just seemed mad the way they were doing it, especially with the way you got your stuff back.
Yeah, and it's not like it was all sort of different items. Like it was probably 3/4 of it was books, so it was pretty standard items that you can stack on top of each other in a box. So
yeah,
there wasn't too much. There was some plush toys that I'd sent up which just hadn't sold at all, and some stuff which just had silly ranks of like 4 million that I didn't even think about. But I did have a good sale, and there was a couple of days I remember sending you and the others messages where I think I had about five or 6 days in a row where I had over £500 days.
I remember I used to sit there in the evening and your numbers would come in, and I'd be like, "You've done 500 again today?"
Yeah, it was
day
weird.
In, day out, on stock that was just, I bet you didn't even know what you were selling, just really old stuff.
Yeah, some of the stuff I genuinely cannot remember where it came from or anything about it. But that's the difference between, what was it you said in your last chat about gross is vanity and profit sanity. That was really just gross, and there was quite a lot of things that I was just breaking even on or even making a loss just to get rid of them. So, but it's still clearing up space anyway. But the kicker of all this, and the reason why Amazon are the dickheads of the week, is because after all that, doing all the changes, they said, okay, your fees are going to be 2,800 odd. But, if you get stuff recalled, then that'll lower it. So they sent me another message saying, okay, your fees are going to be about £600, which I thought, fine, that's great, that's enough. And then when the time came, they charged me £2,800. So they just charged me it regardless. So I've gone through days and days and days of marking down prices, and they still just charged me the same amount anyway.
I don't understand.
Yeah, and I'm still They said, oh, it was a system error, and that you should have been charged a revised amount, and that we'll refund you in 30 business days. So, I mean, that was the 14th of August, so it's probably close to it now. So I'm due a fairly hefty refund soon, hopefully. So,
well, I had a weird one with it because my predicted was nowhere near yours, as you know, and then I went through all those steps and I got it right down to like £70 or less than that, and then I got sent an email with a link where I could go and check what I was liable to be charged, and it came up with nothing. I was like, okay, that's interesting, because when I actually go into my account, I could still see all of the little fees, and also lots of items that I'd had recalled or destroyed even were still on that page with the fee that I was going to be charged. So I actually rang them up, and then they said on the phone that I was going to be charged £0. And I'm like, are you sure? Because I'm looking at my account right now with all these numbers that I'm going to be charged. Some on items that don't exist at the warehouse, some that are still there. And I said, I'm really confused. She said, yeah, I'm 100% sure you're not going to be charged anything. Anyway, I finished that call. I got an email the next day saying, no, you are going to be charged, and it's this much. And it's like the left hand wasn't talking to the right hand. Nobody understood the system. It was all screwing up. And I'm not actually sure what I got charged in the end. I can't even remember.
I know. And I mean, I as well obviously got charged for all the items coming back to me. So I had... It was between 1,000 and 2,000 items returned back to me. So if you think of £1 an item, I will have got charged that as well. But it's the opposite of transparent. It's just just it's a guesswork what the fees are, what happens. You just shovel enough coal into the fire, and hopefully you train moves kind of thing. Because just I had exactly the same thing on mine. That stuff I'd had destroyed or removed, it still said I was going to get charged a fee on. So, and they said it was a system glitch, and that I think they were reimbursing you for some items that you got returned as well, because there was also an issue where it wasn't showing you all the items that you were going to get charged fees on. So they royally screwed it up, basically.
It was just so hard to find any clear, precise idea of what was happening and when, and what they were being charged on what and why. It was just, and navigating around the site to find any of this information was hard enough, but then to actually ring them up and for them to not be able to find the information and get it wrong, it's just like they were really, I get that it's a complicated thing, but come on.
Yeah,
this is what they do. It's
what I didn't understand is I got the 2 emails saying what my fees were, but there was no function on there to say, can you total it up to how much your fees are going to be, like you said. And I contacted customer services, and they said, well, what you've got to do is you've got to go through all your product lines and multiply your storage fee by the number of items you've got, and then add them together. Like I was selling 10 different cutlery items, the private label, they weren't programmed to understand second-hand goods and people would have loads. So
but why should we have to do that anyway? What?
Yeah.
Oh God. I was just looking in the chat. Sib K had a question before. Let me just go. I think I've missed some questions out.
I've missed loads as well.
How much new versus used items do you send to Amazon? Do you find Amazon buyers are pickier and harder to satisfy? Well, personally, I send probably about 50-50 now, new to you. I mean, this stuff's going up. These, for example, RA stuff. These are just shimmer and shine blankets. I sent a lot. I've got a load in Tesco's. I cleared the shelves of them because they were clearing them. And I sent, I think it was 6 or 8 up. And I looked the other day, I didn't realize I'd sold the lot. So, and there's only one other seller. So this is full of them as well. So that's all new stuff. But I do send used stuff up.
Yeah, that's good with the RA when initially you buy it and it's flooded, and then you forget about it and pull it out, and then all of a sudden there's not many sellers on it. So that's good.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened with this. I sent the first ones up, and I was competing on price a bit, and I set a price I was happy with and left it. Recently realized they'd all gone, and now there's literally one other guy, and it's got a really good rank. So Christmas, they're just going to fly out.
That's good. I did that with some there was some Lego games that Sainsbury's was clearing out, and the market was absolutely flooded because every Sainsbury's was clearing them out. It was like the where they get the Lego figures in with it and all that jazz. And so I just put them in a box and forgot, and I found them the other day, and the price is way better now, and especially for Christmas. Is it Dimensions or something like that? Lego Dimensions.
Yeah, could well be. Yeah.
So that's good. But yeah, since that point, I've kind of changed what I do really to sort of quicker selling stuff, and all the stuff I'm getting returned, like I'm sorting through, and some I'm sending back in and just changing the price. Some I'm merchant fulfilling, some's going on eBay, and some I'm just going to take to the car boot or donate, just get rid.
I was going to ask you what the plan was with those piles and piles of stuff. I guess you've had to go through it item by item and just put them in different piles.
Well, at the moment, they're just in a storage unit. So with lots of other stuff, so I'm not paying for a storage unit exclusively, but it's still cheaper than what their fees would be. But yeah, it's most of it, I've not even taken it out of the packages. So I've no idea if what's come back as the right stuff. At this point, it's about quantity, and I just need to sort of move on from it and then go from here. But I'd say about 80% of what I do is used, and then 20% is new. I still do like the new and sealed media, this is a bad example because I would never send this in, but it's like Far Cry 4 new and sealed, but it's ripped. So I'm not going to send that in. That's going to go on eBay.
eBay,
yeah. Because it's not worth the risk.
Exactly. I'm experimenting again with consoles. I'm sending a few up shortly. I've got them ready to go. Have you done much in the work consoles? I know you have in the past, haven't you?
Yeah, I have in the past, but the issue I've had is I sold PlayStation 1, but one, you know, the smaller ones, the second sort of version of it where they were cream and it's like PlayStation 1 and ONE.
Yep.
And I sent it in and it did sell, and then I got a return and then it was marked as defective. So then I had to have it back for myself. And then the woman left a negative feedback on Amazon saying, this is outrageous. I bought this system and it won't plug into my TV and has... So I can't remember how she phrased it, but something like it connects to a SCART cable, and no TV made within the last 10 years has SCART ports anymore.
Yes,
and I felt like they're in love. You know, it's from what, late 90s. You know, oh, it really pissed me off that I think when the prime customers, they just want that nostalgia injection, but don't think about tuning a Mega Drive in and how to do that. They have no idea. So they buy it, they can't work it out in 5-10 minutes. So then they send it back. Oh, it doesn't work.
Exactly. Going back to Sib K, I think it was their question. I think Amazon customers in some ways are harder to please. Their standards of service certainly is right up there. And then also, I think in some ways the Amazon buyers are more like a casual buyer. I happen to want this. I'm just going to click and it'll arrive. And then, like you say, they're not prepared sometimes, particularly with the retro stuff.
Yeah.
Have to go through the rigmarole of setting it up, perhaps getting an old CRT TV out and send. It's like, whereas eBay, you still get those issues on eBay, to be honest, but eBay is more people that are looking for a bargain maybe, but know their stuff. Amazon is the just click and it arrives the next day generation. And yeah, they are hard to please. And if you're going to do FBA, word of warning, people, you will get returns no end. We've had, I think last few days, we've had more returns than we've had sales. We've had one of those weeks. I haven't sent much up. I've just started sending up for Christmas. So sales are coming in dribs and drabs, but we're getting refund notifications just as often as sales at the minute. It's just doing my head in.
Yeah, it's outrageous. The thing, I mean, I'm being quite negative about Amazon, but it is good. But the thing which seems to be a growing trend is not full refunds, but what's called a general adjustment, where someone complains, oh, it was late or whatnot, and they sort of get a partial refund of, say, a quarter of their money back. And yeah,
those. I've contested pretty much every one I've had of general adjustment, or there's some other phrases, and they've always given me the money back.
Yeah, I need to go through and really do it. I mean, I had one recently. I sold like it was like a Sony MP3 player thing, and it sold for about 150 quid, something like that, because it was new. It was like, well, it was open box, but it was like new, and person bought it. Basically couldn't work out how to use it, couldn't get music on it. So because you're dealing with Amazon customer services, they said, oh, it doesn't work. So customer services refunded them in full automatically and then said, keep the item. So I was like, what? You know, and they said, oh yeah, just keep an eye on your account, and if you haven't had a reimbursement in 45 days, contact us again. Yeah. And I was like, you're kidding me. So I'm at 150 quid. I mean, I paid, I think, about 30 for it. So that I'm in my head, oh, I'm out 30 quid. And day before yesterday, I finally got refunded for it. So, but I had to open up a case and say, look, it's been 45 days. So I think they kind of rely on you to forget.
Yes, that's the feeling I get sometimes. They say, oh yeah, it's an automated system. Some of these issues I phoned up, oh yeah, it's an automated, you will get that money back. I'm like, well, when? And you just get the answer, like you said, a standard, oh, within X amount of time. And so I'm expected to what? Put a note on my phone to remind me to check, and then try and find that in your Amazon account. Try and find out if you've had a bloody refund. It's like, you know what I mean? It's, yeah, there are lots and lots of flaws with the system, I would say. I'm not trying to bash Amazon FBA. I do it and I love it. But yeah, for people watching this and thinking of getting involved, you do have to jump through a lot of hoops. You really have very little control. Once you send your items up there, you have very little control about what happens. especially regarding returns and refunds. So it's a totally different game to eBay. Although in saying that, eBay are kind of taking away more and more of our control as well.
Yeah, especially with the brand restrictions and things like that. I mean, you talked about it the other day, and that was so interesting about Velcro and the Vero claims. I had no idea it was that prolific.
Yeah, I luckily, touch wood, I haven't come across it too many times, but you hear about it more and more to do with brand names. It's
I mean, you get that with Amazon, but the thing with Amazon, which is sneaky, is that when you get a Vero type claim, 9 times out of 10, they don't even tell you, and it sort of goes on your record, and you don't even know. So you could have had copyright claims and things like that, and it's marked on your account, but you don't know, because there's a guy, American guy, John, who's got a channel called Reseller Rabbit. And he's recently packed in Amazon because he was doing it big time. Like, he was on the road, buying stuff on the road, sending it in. I mean, he was, like 10,000 items or something. And he had to pack it in because of copyright strikes. He was sending in new and used items, RA and stuff like that, and getting into IP, intellectual property claims. But he wasn't being notified, so it only when it got to a certain threshold, Amazon went, well, we're suspending your account, and then he was able to see all these claims that he got, and he had no idea. And he was saying that if he'd have realized, he would have avoided certain products because he kept getting claims again and again. So yeah,
it's a minefield for sure. I just had a ka-ching, actually, sold a really
was that ka-ching? Cool
Matchbox like little loader. I think I shared it in a video recently.
Cool.
Yeah, I was just flicking through the chat, see if we've got any more.
There's a lot of talk about CNET and them selling.
I sent a sealed Friends one in. Guess what price I've put on it?
50 quid.
I've got 99.99. Not really expecting that. I got 50 or 60 last Christmas for one, but there's very few new sealed ones and very few FBA. There's plenty of used ones.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put it up. I'm not expecting that to sell or wanting to sell it before December anyway. So I'll reassess it then. I'm doing that with a fair bit of stuff. I know I'll get the monthly storage fees between now and December, but I'm hoping to hit the peak moment in December with a lot of this. It's a tricky game to get right, but I'm going to try again.
A couple people in the chat are asking if I do eBay. Yeah, I do eBay, but it's normally for stuff that I've bought for Amazon, and there's either a slight issue or when I mean issue, like for whatever reason, when I get home, I can't sell it. Things like Disney DVDs, I'll do the bundles of them because I've been out scanning and I've bought a couple of Disney DVDs, and my scanning app doesn't always tell, or I miss that I can't sell it, it's restricted or whatnot. So, and things like Pokemon games, because they're restricted on Amazon. Some of the brands like Microsoft's restricted, Apple's restricted. So things like the other day I got some here actually. Got these yesterday.
Nice.
2 little nanos, tenner each. So
I've got a right. Hold that thought. That's it.
And one of these little doodads.
Is that the right box for those? I think it is. If you want it, I'll send it up to you.
Oh, cool. Yeah, cheers, mate.
That might add another 5 or 10 quid to the price.
I took them on eBay. I put these old style iPods on eBay as well because the hard drives are dodgy on them. I found so.
One like that, I remember buying one just like that in white for Andrea for her birthday once. It cost me like 250 quid or something back in the day.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Also things like this, I can't set. I've scanned this. It's like I think they're called tactical torches or something. They're like crazy, super bright torches. But I can't send it to Amazon. Although it scans, it's because it's got lithium batteries in. And it's been deemed as hazmat, so I can't send it in. So I'll either merchant fulfill it or put this on eBay.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I just need to say, Jason Entwistle has just super chatted £2 there. He says, "Great to see Tom again. Bring back Dickhead of the Week."
I will do.
It's interesting you mentioned merchant fulfilled, and a lot of people watching this who may not be au fait with the lingo. There's still the option of not sending your stuff to the warehouse. It's an option, but you can still keep your stuff here with you at your home and sell it merchant fulfilled. So when the order comes in, you ship it out. And that's a great option, to be honest. You know, there's nothing to say you can't sell stuff or get good money that way. So,
yeah, definitely. Just a comment as well from Darren Smart from Smarts Reselling, saying he's still restricted on Amazon for Microsoft. So he's got some Xbox One stuff, only to find out that he can't send them in. Yeah, Microsoft's a classic one. It goes in and out of being restricted. And I did actually try and get unrestricted for that, but the steps in order to do it, you had to have, I think it was 5 different Microsoft products from 2 different authorized Microsoft suppliers, and you've got to have something like 10 of each, and an invoice with your full name and address on, and their full name and address on, and something else, all on these 2 invoices. And I managed to get pretty much what they were asking, and then they moved the goalpost and said, "Oh, and it needs their business VAT number on," or something which was just impossible to do. Or the other option is you've got to have a letter from Microsoft saying you're authorized to sell their products. I mean, I'm just trying to sell secondhand stuff. You know, it's not like I was selling new bloody Xbox Ones or something like that. But it was so far-reaching because certain Xbox 360 and Xbox One games were restricted because they were made by Microsoft Studios. It was absurd. And so, yeah, you got to watch out for that. Logitech is another one as well, which most people can't sell.
At least for now, we've got eBay to fall back on, so you can always shift that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, the whole, I mean, like, this was I had a copy of Windows 95, and that was restricted. I mean, a used copy of Windows 95, you know, and they were still saying, no, you've got to have Microsoft's approval to sell. Just a joke.
Insane. Because, I mean, I kind of get it with current stuff that they only want their suppliers to sell it through. You know what I mean? They don't want people. They want legitimate lines that they can control and who's got it. For current stuff, I kind of get that. But like you said, Windows 95 that they stopped making, you know, a couple of decades ago.
Yeah.
Why should they care? They shouldn't have any control.
Some brands do it in a more sensible way where you can sell it used, you just can't sell it new. And that's fine. I totally get that. But then what people do is they sell it as like new, but then in the condition notes put this item is new.
New and sealed, yeah.
Yeah. So people get, and that's why the whole situations happen, really.
There's some chat going on about ungating in categories. To make sense of that for people that don't know, within Amazon there's loads of categories. So you've got your computer games, and then you've got other spin-off categories like health and beauty, which randomly became open to, I don't know if it wasn't everyone, because Zahir said he didn't get ungated, but I randomly got ungated in health and beauty the other night. Didn't have to do anything. That's
brilliant for you. I mean, especially with the Tesco deals. I mean, I had to jump through some hoops to get into health and beauty. I did get into it, but this was 6 months ago because I got a load of stuff from Tesco. It was like some hand cream stuff for people with eczema and stuff. And I thought I'm just gonna try and do it. And I eventually did get into it. But yeah, there was a glitch the other night where there were health and beauty, and then loads of the subcategories like baby products and stuff like that. They were automatically approving, and I did do some, but there was a part of me that went, "Is this too good to be true? Is this going to come back on me that if I click approval, then?"
I didn't even have to do anything. I just scanned some stuff. I think it was Fake Rachel mentioned it. So I had some product that I just made a listing on eBay. It was like some Vicks Vapo Rub stuff. So I thought, okay, that's interesting. Randomly just scanned. I was doing an FBA shipment anyway. Scanned it in, and it went through fine. And I had never been approved in that category.
Wow.
And I didn't do anything, didn't answer any emails, didn't do anything. So I just don't get it.
Yeah, Zahir had that. I think it was with Sony or something. He randomly got grandfathered in. The mad thing is that if you start Amazon now, you're restricted on so much. This is the mental thing, that CDs are restricted if you start Amazon now.
I heard. Yeah.
I mean, that's just mental to me. I got an email saying, due to your account status and like the amount of units you've got, we were just letting you know you've been auto-approved for popular music and something else. And I was like, that's a good job, because I've got so many CDs.
Although they changed the goalposts on media, the fees now on CDs, you've got to be selling at a £5 and beyond to make a penny.
That's another thing that has,
on media now. It used to be you could, if you pick up a crate of CDs, it's worth sending a load in cheap. If they owe you nothing, you take the cream out. It might be worth sending in a few cheap ones. It's not worth your time now. You want to be looking at a tenner plus, really. Yeah,
before I'm only making 80p or £1 or whatnot, but still it's getting rid of it, and it's more than Magpie charges. But
see the case of, I've got a box on the go, I may as well chuck them in and make the weight up, and I need to get rid of this stuff anyway. It's only going to Magpie. So I used to do a lot of that, and they tick over, they sell quick.
And to be honest, what I did, which was a bit naughty in the past, is I put them at the top and the bottom of a box. So if they get damaged, then it doesn't matter. They get damaged, just click dispose of them, doesn't matter. They get destroyed. So that it's kind of like, instead of putting void fill in, it doesn't matter. But yeah, now, and I see it so many times that people who've left their stock in there, that they're selling like a CD for $1.99, prime, like,
and
FBA, and they're paying for the privilege of selling it.
Yeah, I went through and adjusted all my stock when this news came out. I managed to miss a few bits. I sold a DVD, I think, for about £3 or something, and I think I had to pay Amazon to sell it.
Yeah,
it might have been a little bit less than that. It was something I was trying to clear anyway, when I was trying to avoid the because I reduced a load of stuff to try and avoid the damn long-term storage fees and just get rid of it rather than having it sent back. And then I managed to miss them, and then they sold, and then I got penalized because they'd moved the goalposts on the fees. So it's like, damn you, Amazon. You really have to get your head around it all. It's a minefield. You mentioned there about getting stuff destroyed. What's your opinion on what Amazon does with that stuff? Have you got any ideas?
100% guarantee that unless it's like the unit itself, unless the unit itself is like smashed to bits or whatever, I think there's a brief visual inspection to determine whether it's in a saleable condition. They sling it on a pallet and sell it at an auction house.
That's what I'd heard.
It just makes total sense to them to do it. And it may get shipped abroad or whatnot, but I am 95% certain that there's been books that I've asked to be destroyed that have then reappeared on Amazon.
Well, there's also the Amazon warehouse deals. I wondered if they subtly get them back on the market by doing them as their own stock.
Yeah, I think they perhaps say there's a certain sale price or something like that they'll pull the cream out of and send warehouse deals.
But the selling it by pallet load makes perfect sense, because to them, they charge us to destroy it, so they've already made a bit back on that anyway. They were charging us to have it there, and then they basically sell it and keep the money.
Yeah. I'd love to be a fly on the wall in one of the warehouses or something. It'd be really interesting to see. I mean, there was a really good documentary about it, about them overworking the members of staff and like not allowing them to go for toilet breaks, and the distances that they had to work and walk. And the temperature in the warehouses was so low. I mean, I've had stuff back that's just covered in dust. Absolutely just filthy.
Yeah, and I've had, I mean, you said you haven't been through a lot of the stock you've had returned, but some of the stuff I had returned was in terrible condition, like board games that had just been, I don't know what they'd done to them. They'd squashed them, they'd ripped the cellophane I put on.
This is one here. This one came back. It's a Sudoku one. And hang on. It's got no game in it. So some, and it got my seal on the edge like that, and it's just got no game in it. So don't know what's happened there. So that was an odd one.
Wow. So you reckon that's a warehouse person? Just
Yeah, but you could see someone like it looked like they picked the label and pulled it open a bit. So yeah, I don't know. I know I can't remember who it was. Someone on the UK resellers group has had some GameCube games that were pilfered out of the cases, and people said, "Oh, it arrived with nothing in it." And I know Darren, I think, has sold some pretty high-end GameCube games on there. Anything too expensive, I'm merchant fulfill. Anything over £100, I'll merchant fulfill.
I remember people saying about that. I don't know if it was Lee Mather or someone was chatting about.
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah,
and that it did worry me about, because I sent some pretty high-end N64 stuff up and some boxed stuff, but I went with it anyway. And touch wood, I had no problem. I sold like Banjo-Kazooie boxed for 50 quid and a boxed Mario for 50 or 60. But yeah, it is a bit of a gamble. But I was sealing those up.
Yeah, so do you use there's clear seals that you put on the side? I use them.
I have been now. Yeah, I've ordered some bigger ones as well. What I've been doing with board games and toys and stuff is using little seals. But these are too small, so I've gone for like 4 or 5 centimeters ones. I've just ordered them up. These were only like 3 centimeters or something, 2.5.
Yeah. But on the CDs, I get the packets as well. That you just put them in and flip it over and seal them.
Yeah, I like those. Yeah.
Just also, I think it makes them look nicer.
I don't use that on all of them, but I certainly do on card sleeved ones, because me as a CD buyer, I still buy my stuff on CD a lot of the time. If I get a card CD with one of those poxy Amazon FBA labels on, I'm livid because I can't get it off without ruining it. So I bag all of mine up, mainly for the point that the label doesn't go on the item. And I do that with anything that's card boxed regarding gaming.
Yeah.
The collector doesn't want that on an N64 box.
Yeah. I mean, the labels I use for Amazon are 27 label up sheets, you know, these.
Yeah, same here.
But I use permanent stick ones, not easy peel, because easy peel, yeah, it comes off easier, but then I worry it's going to come off in the warehouse. And yeah, I do stick them on some books and think this sucker ain't ever coming off this book.
Yeah.
And when I first started, I did that on some nice books and got returns for people going, you put a bloody barcode on it. It's not, you know, I don't want it now. So,
well, I suffered that when I had the stuff that I had returned here, and I thought, oh, I'm going to stick these on eBay then. And then, like you say, they've got that label on, and mine are permanent, so I couldn't get it off. So then I was trying to think, can I put them on eBay as new? They've got an obvious Amazon FBA label on. It does say new on the thing or whatever, but yeah, I think most of those I just boot sold and got rid of them in the end. But yeah. First world problems, eh? Let's see what's going on in the chat. Darren says, I've also seen Amazon lots at some auction houses. Might just be general returns, but chances are also destroyed items.
Yeah,
it does make sense that that's what they'd do. I mean, they're a business, I get it. But if they are doing that, to say that they're destroying your stuff and then to be sneakily cashing it in is a bit cheeky.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I used to just do eBay, my mindset was very different. I mean, from my early videos, you'll see I used to sell jewelry and coins and stuff. And I got out of that game really because there's too many scammers, and just the intrinsic worth, having that around, I felt really, you know, security conscious. So I sold all that off and then stopped buying it from that point on, which is it's a shame, but it is what it is. And you know, that was a hefty chunk of cash to get me into Amazon, which was good. But my mindset was very different doing eBay. I was precious over every single little thing, and every return I took, you know, to heart, like really personally, that I wanted that item back no matter what, and this and that. And now with Amazon, I've had to be, another return. Oh, well, you know, the next item will pay for it. It'll balance out as long as there's a profit at the end of it, and that profit margin staying good. That some items you know, I'm going to lose out on, and just that's life. If I was to worry about that, I'd never sleep at night, because that's just the way it's got to be if you're selling in those quantities, I suppose.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have to detach from that and look at the monthly figures. Yeah, I've learned that over the years. I mean, same with eBay, you know, over time you do have to just go, okay, it's part of the job.
Yeah.
And just let it wash off, you know, off a duck's back, whatever they say. But yeah, not easy. How are we doing for time? Oh, it's 1:45. Okay. There was a question about what are we expecting to turn over at Christmas. I have no idea numbers wise. I'm just daily at the minute, just discuss. I forgot about these. I forgot I had loads left. I forget what stock I've got. I've squirreled away. I haven't been in the loft yet to retrieve a load of Christmas stuff.
I know. I went in my loft and I'd found a load of Crash Bandicoot games in there, and I was like, oh, I've missed the boat on them with the game coming out.
No, you haven't.
There's some I bought off Steve, you know, Hixie,
Yep.
ages ago, and the PS2 ones, and I think there's a first game or something like that, and I was like, because they were going for mental money, both eBay and Amazon. I think Mind Over Mutant was going for just ridiculous money.
Oh right, so they have come down then, because I've sent up a Crash 1, the double disc with the demo.
Oh yeah,
I'll
cool.
stack it on at 40 or 45, I think.
Oh, cool.
So I don't know if that's lower than they were.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I mean, I'm mainly judging it on the PlayStation 2 ones, just because they're the ones that I come across more often. Things like Crash Tag Team Racing and stuff like that. I mean, it's still always going to sell. It's going to sell quick, no matter what platform you're on. But
I wonder if Joe got rid of. He had a box. Must have had, like, if he had one, he had 30 copies of Crash.
Ridiculous.
He should have cashed them in this year, because you know, surely that's the peak that it's going to be for a few years.
Yeah, and I know when the last Final Fantasy game came out, I had a Final Fantasy 7 and something like that, and 7 and 8, and they went for really good money. You've got a picture, and it's been delayed now till next year, but the new Red Dead Redemption game, when that's coming out, that's going to get a boost. It's like Destiny 2's out at the moment, and the Destiny games had a brief boost. They've come back down now, but
and also when they do the whole backwards compatible thing, if you can keep an eye on that, keep your ear to the ground, you can.
So with the whole Destiny thing, it was like the 2 weeks before the game came out, I think people thought, oh, I need to get used to playing this game again, so I'll buy the old one, get back into it, because I haven't played it in 2 years or whatever. And that's where
a lot of that also, you're right, but also I think it's people that have only just got a PS4 and they're like, oh, Destiny 2's coming out. Haven't played the first one. I won't be up on the storyline. I won't be up on the gameplay.
Yeah,
so a lot of people are just getting into it that way as well. So
yeah, and like you said, the backwards compatible with the on the Xbox One with the 360 games, and also now they're saying that the original Xbox games are going to be backwards compatible. But it's the same with PlayStation 1 games playing on the PS4, because it's not something that's talked about much, but you can play the PS1 games on the PS4, as far as I understand.
Okay.
So there's still quite a buoyant market in that because of that. But I think PlayStation have really lost out on avoiding the backwards compatible, and you can definitely tell, because PS3 games, as a rule, I find sell for less than 360 games, but because they're Blu-ray discs, they're often not nearly as scratched. So
yeah, totally. I was just reading some comments. Oh, it's just jumped. Omelette Flipper, great name there, said, Tom and Nick, you're doing a great job of putting people off selling on Amazon. I did this Q4. That's not the intention.
No.
But I think we are both conscious of telling it like it is, because if you just bang on about the positives of FBA, it can sound like it's really easy, it's great, it's all roses, and it's not. You have to deal with a lot of crap.
Yeah, there's too many twats out there saying about the benefits and selling wolf mugs on Amazon for they're imported from China and private label this, and you know, you can make your millions doing this. And I think we're sort of that leveling aspect of where actually, you talk about getting dicked over, that it's more the, the reality. You've got to take the rough with the smooth kind of thing.
Yeah. If nothing else, we'll share the negatives as well as the positives.
Yeah.
Question from Sibk. Tom and Nick, do you use a repricer? Do you want to explain what that means as well?
Yeah, I mean, the software you can get where that will automatically adjust your prices on Amazon. I'm assuming you can get them for eBay as well, but that change your prices to beat your competition and whatnot, and you can set up different parameters. And Amazon have actually got their own one built into the Seller Central, which I've dabbled with, but it's more catered to people who've got a line of products or maybe they sell, I don't know, 50 things, and they've got X quantity of said 50 things, and that it's the hot product. It's more for people like that. When you've got, I mean, I've got about 4,800 items. You have to set up a pricing policy on each and every single one, so it just doesn't fit. On hot selling stuff around Christmas, I'll dabble in it. Also, I don't really trust it because there was a balls up, I think it was the end of last year, where the people were selling like memory foam mattresses for like £1 or something. It completely went wrong. This one particular repricer went very wrong, and
I would be paranoid that there's a glitch and suddenly all of your stock is like
a penny.
Yeah, and you can't do anything about it. But yeah, I've never used a repricer. The thing about Amazon is it is very price centric, and there's a lot of people on there who try and be the cheapest to get the sale. But how far do you take that? And we've all screamed at the computer looking at people, especially FBA sellers, undercutting. There is no need.
No.
I mean, this stuff, for example, well, not particularly those, but stuff I've been sending up now, I'm head and shoulders way above prices on a lot of the stuff I'm sending up purposefully. I want the others to sell out cheap. That's fine. Get on with it. I'll wait till November, December and wait for my 40 quid on a board game that perhaps now you can get for a tenner. It doesn't always work, but yeah, Amazon is all about the price, because also we're all selling on that same one product page, aren't we? You think about it. If you want this, there's only one product page and there's a list, and they order it cheapest first. eBay is not like that.
Yeah, eBay would like to be like that, I think, but I mean, there's certain things you can do, but it's the one thing that, excuse my language, really boils my piss, is that people, FBA sellers, it's particularly like your big companies now, but you do get new Muppets who do this, who undercut by a penny the lowest merchant price. And I'm like, mate, what are you doing? You're leaving so much money on the table. I've had items where, say, I'm 20 quid and they've put $6.99, and I'm like, oh, what are you doing? And it's prolific now.
Yeah.
And
I picked up I can't remember the box set. It was a DVD box set, sealed, and I'd sold one only the week before on Amazon for like 30 quid or something. Found another one in a charity shop. I think it was like a £5 or whatever. Grabbed that, came home, went to scan it into Amazon. Somebody had FBA'd one and done exactly that, undercut all the others. So they had it listed for like £5 or £6. So I'm like, okay, thank you. Bought it.
Yeah.
It arrived prime the next day. I sent both of them back up at 30 quid each and sold both of them.
Yeah, you do have to be careful doing that, because if you're buying something with Prime, you can get in bother.
Yes, and I have more than one account to avoid that very thing. But yeah, thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah, so I've done that with merchant ones before, where say there's been like World of Books or something like that, and I've bought it, but that's all right because that's not Prime, and then I've just sent it in FBA. Say they've got it at, I don't know, a couple of pounds plus postage, and then I've sent it in for 20 quid. It's happened quite often with, if it's a decent rank, if it's something quick, then I've done it.
Yeah, I dare say there's people out there and that is their business model. I dare say there's people just doing that. If you could do that enough times. Oh, George Ross has just super chatted. Slow sales month, only sold 250k worth. Yeah, if you're in the chat, you'll understand the reference.
Well, he's a bit cheap. He could have given you more than £2 if he's only sold 250k. Bloody hell.
Yeah, but you see, that was his turnover, and his costs were 249.999k. So that's all his profit for the month.
Yeah, and he made enough for a bacon sandwich. That's cool.
Let me just see if we've got any more questions we can touch on. Then we'll probably wrap this up because I need to go and get some dinner and then get myself ready.
Oh gosh, yeah, it's 7 o'clock. Yes.
Yeah. Got to go and lose at poker again.
It's been good to have a good old grumble, and thanks for everyone for bearing with. You know, Amazon is good, and you know there were certain aspects of what's gone on with me in the last 6 months that Amazon saved my arse. That I was able to be there and do things and drop everything and go and still have it ticking away in the background. If I was just doing eBay, I wouldn't be able to. I'd still have to post stuff out. But there was, you know, I took the best part of my 5-6 weeks out, something like that, and I didn't have to post a single item, and that was bloody brilliant, and that saved my arse big time. You know,
that's it.
So
for all the things we've mentioned tonight, and I know we have leaned heavily on the negatives. Amazon, selling on Amazon via FBA is an efficient way to do business. You really have to have your head screwed on with the fees, but beyond that, it's great. And like you say, when we went on holiday recently, we were sitting there still selling stuff. I mean, we're still selling on eBay as well, actually, but with FBA, it's completely automated. It's shipped and it's dealt with for you. So, yeah, it is great.
George Ross in the comments saying, "I just sent you all the profit through. Bought some tartan paint for 249,998."
Oh, that's generous of you. I've just you've given me your monthly profit. Oh, that's nice. Appreciate that. Okay, well, thanks for joining me, Tom. We'll wrap this up there. I'll be back with Andrea for a chat on Sunday. We do have a jumble sale coming up. I'm not sure if it's before then. We might have a haul if it is.
I'm trying to have a bit of a gap from buying. The only thing I picked up this week, I'll show you this before we go.
You don't have cash buying. Don't pull that one.
Is the comedic sized carrots that I'm growing in my garden. So
they are chunky as hell, mate.
I'm quite proud of them actually, but they do look like something out of a cartoon. So, but yeah, no, I'm on a no buying. I'm trying to have a week of not buying anything, and it's going all right so far. Except, you know, might sneak out at the weekend.
Hugh Hefner, God rest his soul, would be proud of that.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, so there you go. List anything Playboy at the moment.
Yeah, bless him. All right, well, thank you everyone for joining us. I hope we answered a few questions, and I hope there was something in there that was useful for you. We're not bashing Amazon. We both love Amazon as a platform, but yeah, just understand that it's not all roses.
Yep, definitely.
All right, cheers, buddy. Take it easy.
Right. See you later. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.